Blessings, fam, and welcome back to Inspirational Cafe. I'm your girl, Rochelle. Here is where I uplift, I encourage, and I inspire. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to share. And please don't forget to subscribe. Let's dig in. Listen, we know that nothing is ever wasted. All of the headaches, the many heartaches that we endure from day to day, it serves great purpose. Everything we go through is purposeful in God's eyes. Quite often we don't understand when we have to go through some major, some rough, some trying times. We don't understand. But we know that God allows everything that we go through. He uses it for our greater good. And often it's not only for us, but it's for us to testify to others, to our brothers and sisters, about the goodness of Jesus Christ, how he brought us through, how he allowed us to go through that difficult situation, that trying time, that test that almost broke us. But we're not broken because God's word declares he's close to the brokenhearted. That means God will never, ever leave us alone. We're not in this. We're not in all that we go through all by ourselves, because God declares he gives us beauty for our ashes. He gives us beauty. All we have to go through, and we've been through a lot. We're still going through, but God declares he's close to us. He'll never allow us to go through all by ourselves, no matter what it looks like, no matter how it may seem. We're never alone. Because God is always with us, always. Nothing is ever wasted. God declares nothing is ever wasted. I can remember going through, me and my husband, when we first went through, we were so excited when we got pregnant. We were so excited. But I can remember going through that moment when we found out we suffered a miscarriage. And my God, my questions to God was why? I had so many, but the first one was why me? My first pregnancy, what's going on, God? I serve you. I love the Lord. I'm saved. I do what's right. My first pregnancy, and this is what happens to me. And I said, God, why in the world? Why me? Why us? Why you chose this test? But see, we can't choose our own test. But I didn't understand at that time. God uses our ashes and replace it with beauty. I didn't understand that I had to go through that trial, that difficulty, that test, that struggle. I was full of despair. I was like, Lord, have mercy. I don't know if I can make it through this. But I can remember praying and ask God for strength every single day. And every day, God gave me strength. He gave us strength, me and my husband, to go through such a difficult loss. But God saw us through. And he allowed me to go through, for us to go through that difficulty, to be a testimony to others, other women that suffered in the same way. I can remember telling others, you're going to make it through. You can make it through this. God is going to give you joy even after this. It may not seem like it right now, but God is going to use this for the greater good. So the same way that I encourage you, you can make it through this, you're going to encourage someone else. See, God uses the trials and the troubles. He uses it as a testimony, so that we can share with our brothers and sisters just how good God is. That even though we have to suffer great loss at times, God uses it so that we can spread the word of just how good God is. That we can declare to our brothers and sisters that God is a God that will see you through great trials and troubles, many problems, difficulties. That even when you feel like you don't understand God's plan, God has already worked it out. And he's always by your side. He'll never leave you lonely or alone. God will never leave you lonely or alone. But God uses everything for our greater good, because nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. I didn't understand why I had to go through a difficult time, a struggle, a burden, a trial, a great trial, a hard test. But it was used so that I can encourage others that have to go through the same thing, that you gonna make it through. And that even after you go through, there's beauty on the other side, because the story didn't end there. But God blessed us with a boy child. 2 years later, God blessed us, and we were so happy and excited. Yes, we had to suffer loss, but even after suffering loss, God replaced us with joy, unspeakable joy. God replaced the hurt and the pain, all of the sorrow, with happiness, with joy, with a triumphant moment that we can share together and saying we made it through the trial. We made it through the test. And God blessed us on the other side, because God uses our testimonies. They're not only for us, but they're so we can share with our brothers and sisters, that they too can make it through. It's so that we can encourage others that yes, you may suffer loss. Yes, you may have to go through some difficult and challenging moments, but God will take your ashes and replace it with beauty every single time. If you just hold on, remain faithful, and continue to trust in God. God says, let love and faithfulness never leave you. That's Proverbs 3:3. And we know that we must trust in God, even when we don't understand or we can't trace him. Because there have been several moments I said, God, what are you doing here? I don't understand this plan. When I had to suffer so many times and I didn't understand what God was doing. But by and by, I understood. I said, God, okay, I see you working. Okay, I know why now I had to go through, because you're using it so that I can tell others that they too can make it through. God will always take your ashes and replace it with beauty. He will use those trials, those tribulations, and allow you to see his goodness. Even after all of the pain, the suffering, the many problems. Oh yes, it's purposeful. It may not look like it at that very moment, but it's all purposeful, because nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is wasted. God uses everything for our greater good. And I just want to encourage someone that may be feeling like you've been suffering great loss. There's trial and test and difficulty and struggle, one after the other. But I can promise you that God is using it. He's using it for your greater good, because God, he will take all that you have to go through, all of the ashes, everything that may seem out of order, that may seem like it's causing you to be full of despair, full of hurt and burden, full of trouble and trial. I can promise you he's using it. He's turning it into beauty. He's using it for your greater good. But you must only remain faithful. Remain faithful to God's word. Continue to believe that God has greater purpose for your life. I just want to encourage you to let God use you. Let him use that problem, that trouble, that difficult situation that you may be going through, because nothing is ever wasted. And God, I can promise you, is using it for your greater good. He's using it so that you can see that it wasn't only for you, but he's using it so that you could share with your brothers and sisters and encourage them as they go through their trials, their many tests, their difficulties, their struggles, because nothing is ever wasted. God turns your ashes into beauty. Let him turn it. Let him use it for your greater good. I love you all so very much. I am Rochelle. This is Inspirational Cafe. Until next time, be blessed.